Hello. Good morning. Welcome back to the currently hottest week of the year up to now in a Pup in the Life. Welcome back. It's been hard to produce content for the last couple of days because it was so freaking hot. It was basically impossible to walk. But here we are, and hopefully you're staying safe, staying well, not going out in the hottest hours. Here we are in a Pup in the Life. So, in today's Pup in the Life, we have an interesting and I wouldn't say uncommon take for founders, because this is actually what's been going down for Mom, and I'm sure for many other founders too, but probably you don't know about it. So, as always, in a Pup in the Life, we are the ones talking about it, telling you all that you need to know, or not all, like giving you perspective on something that probably you hadn't thought before, and that actually might be really interesting to get to understand and get to know for your future deals or days in the life. So, sorry, we were about to be just run over by a bike. So in today's pod, when your investors become partners in a deal, or potentially so, when actually in the tiniest way of seeing things, they are simply asking you for your take on a deal. Now, has this ever happened to you? Let us know. This happened to Mom, and she found herself in a situation in which investors, potential ones also, were asking for her take on some deals that they were trying to make with some startups. And the interesting thing about it is usually what the deal is about, of course, something that they think either Mom can participate in, so should be tiny, so doesn't happen quite a lot, or better, it is a deal that supposes market knowledge about something specifically. And so what usually comes in for Mom is deals on marketing tech and digital in general, more in general. And so the last one came in a couple of days ago, and I was actually finding it very interesting to analyze the deck and whatever. And there are many things that we can say about it, because looking at decks and at opportunities from an investment standpoint rather than from a founder standpoint, you're gonna realize there is like a totally different outlook than what you usually see, which is from a founder's standpoint. Some will actually say it, technically speaking, should be the same, but it's actually not. And you're gonna find yourself just looking at this opportunity from a founder standpoint, saying, "Oh my God, like look at these founders. Yeah, amore. Look at what they're trying to build. Like, this is cool. This is, if it works out, like it's it's gonna be great and whatnot." Whereas from an investor standpoint, you're actually gonna always look at the bigger picture. And this is not in how much time I will get my money back. This is, I would say, I'm not in a position to judge, but my feeling is that this talks about not an unexperienced investor, but probably somebody that should technically be investing in something that is not a startup, because a startup has a longer time horizon, and to be honest, probably is not the asset where I would put my money, and if it was the only thing I was doing and I would need that money right away, I would probably try and do other type of investment shit. But this is not financial advice podcast, so we're not going to go into that. But just saying that the perspective is different, because you're going to always look at how big this thing, how big can this thing get, sorry. But, if you're not the first person that thinks how big can this get, and you're not bold enough, well, the opportunity is not interesting enough. And there always goes also the money request for things, where they say, sometimes you're just asking for too much money, but usually you're asking for too little. And everybody, I would say most founders make this mistake, and I've made it too. I luckily was able to raise a bit more than expected. But unfortunately, this is what happens usually. And thinking about going into even, picking the right metrics when you don't have enough money to experiment with, if you have a startup model that is not SME's model, it's gonna be hard. And so the thing that is clear is that you could potentially ask yourself, why are they sending these deals to me? Why are they asking me what I think? Why? And the answer is because they think that you, as a founder, have a market knowledge that they don't have. Sometimes they tell you that. Sometimes it's obvious. It's non-stated, but it's basically what they're showing to you. And so this is an asset that, first off, money can't buy, and second, that you cannot fake. It's quite evident when anybody just enters the market with a proposition, just asking for something, just claiming they know, just trying to get a bunch of money and then try again, do something else. And it's clear when instead you actually have a project that is thought on and it's bold enough to actually, become crap at some point, but everything can become crap and not work and fail. So it's better to try big and then fail, and then get to understand that you've tried hard enough to get as big as you could, and then it didn't work. But it didn't work, and you actually also can size it down, for example. Also, what do you think your investors think when you tried tiny enough and you said, oh my God, okay, I failed. I'm sorry, I failed, and that's it. It's like you're actually telling yourself, now that I have market knowledge, I'm gonna throw the towel, but it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in any shape or form, because the market is telling you just one simple thing: you didn't know. And if you now think you know, you should be better equipped than most people to actually solve that freaking problem, or maybe, I don't know, change problem but keep it in the same industry, or keep the same problem in another industry. I really don't know. It's just an idea that we're trying to give you, trying to think in a different way about the challenges of, of this world, this startup land. And so just to get back to our point, your investors, potential ones, sharing deals, asking for feedback is meaning they know that you know about that market, and they're expecting you to have answers. They're expecting you to have hot takes that they don't have. Otherwise, they wouldn't even ever invest in you. And so it's not enough to have a great idea. Once they say founders need to have traction, it doesn't mean that they have worked in the sector for a long time. It means they know something in the market that most people in the market, not just outside the market, don't know yet. So I know this is kind of obvious, but the more I go and the more we get precise and into this type of dynamics, the more we realize it's not obvious at all. And if you feel like you don't have resources, please understand that you have the only resource that these people don't have. Maybe you don't have money, but you have market knowledge, which is the most important thing, without which you can have money, you cannot put it at work. And so, yeah, this was a topic for today. This was a Pup in the Life for today. We know it's kind of a take that most people don't probably ever think about, but we'd like to know what do you think about it, and if it ever happened to you, and and how you dealt with that, and if you have found it valuable, if you as an investor potentially have asked founders for an opinion or not, and why so. I'm gonna say bye for now, and we can just be hoping you have an amazing week. Sorry for yesterday, we weren't live. It was a festive day in Italy, so yeah. So for now, hopefully you have an amazing week, and you can tune in a Pup in the Life, leaving us a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever you're listening from, and sending you lots of kisses, hugs, and just a tiny bit of barks. Bye.